So what we're going to be looking at for a minute is kind of like repeating shapes, ways that you can do that quickly. So I'm going to make a line. I'm going to hold shift down, then it makes sure that it locks it into the vertical or the horizontal. I can go to my rotate tool if I want this rotating around an axis. Go to the rotate tool. You'll see that this is called an anchor point. This blue thing, I'm going to zoom in a little bit tighter so you can see that. This blue thing right here, that's an anchor point. When you're on this rotate tool here, you can click and move that anchor point wherever you want on the object, and then it will rotate around that point there. So I'm going to click and put that anchor point right down here, and now it'll rotate that around there instead of around the center point of the stroke. I'm going to zoom back out. So I'm on the anchor point. I'm going to start rotating it, and I'm going to press Alt. So did you see that? I start rotating. I grab it and rotate it, and then hit Alt, and then it duplicates that. And I can do that process again. Start rotating, hit Alt. Another useful tip is if I'm making a circle here, if I go up here to the white arrow tool, I can see the anchor points. If I want to add anchor points at equal distances from one another, I can go to Path, Add Anchor Point. So Object, Path, Add Anchor Points. And then I can go and start modifying that shape. The thing I can do is I could shift click these two things and move them together. So adding anchor points equal distance apart, and then shift selecting two anchor points and moving them together. Here's another tip. So I'm going to select all of these here that I've made. I'm going to right click and I'm going to group them together quickly. And under Object, you have this repeat area, and I can make a radial repeat. And I can add more to that radial repeat or less. I can also go in here and I can change the tightness of that by pulling it down or pulling it up. What I'm super excited about is that repeat area. Make a couple of shapes here. I'm going to color this in blue. So now I can select all those together, go up to Object, go to the Repeat, and go to the Radial Repeat, and then play around with a ton of different things. You can spread it out. You can do things very quickly. And also, if you wanted to, you could go up into the Object, and you can go into the Repeat, and you can check out what grid does. And you can see you can make more of the grid. So pretty amazing tool there. You could also go up back to the Repeat, and you can see what mirror does. So you can mirror the object together quickly. So you could have that design created, and then thinking about other things that you've looked at. If you're excited by the 3D stuff, you could go up into 3D, and you could extrude that and make that into a 3D shape if you wanted. So here are some things I made with that whole radial thing. I made a bunch of arcs like this, changed the color, and put that in the Repeat Radial tool. And then I was playing around with different blend things because people seem to like the abstract design, and I made these. So with the blending tool, you can use gradients, but let me show you something. So if I'm like this, and I threw a gradient on here, I go up to Object, go down to Blend, go to my blend options. And if I'm doing smooth color, it doesn't work that well if this is on a gradient. So if I go OK, and then I go to make that gradient with the smooth color, it doesn't really work that well. That's because it's on a gradient. Where it works really well, I'm going to spread these apart a little bit. So I'm going to pick these two things here. I'm going to go back to my blend options, specify distance. I'm going to use specify distance. This will work way better. And I'm going to put it on 1 point here. Go OK, and then make that. Then I could start grabbing these things, tweaking them around. Then the other thing about this, I'm going to select this, is you can go up into Object. If you're really loving the blend, you can kind of check out what this is. You could go down here, and what is a reverse spine? If I reverse that, what does that do? It does it like that. So you can start playing around with those things. In fact, what I would do if I was making a book cover, I might just copy and paste that, have one this angle, go up to Object, Blend, and then reverse the spine, and then I basically just quickly reverse that. You can start playing around with those two objects very quickly. The other thing you can look at in the blend is the reverse front to back here, and just some other options that kind of change things up. And then I find when I start moving this around, I almost get this almost 3D effect to the blend. So that's how those were created there. The other tip I'm going to give you is right here, you can do strokes within strokes, which is a super handy tip. So I'm going to go and pick this object here. I'm going to go and I'm going to throw a stroke on it. So there's a stroke. But what if I wanted this type of thing happening, a stroke within a stroke? Select this object here. The way that you put a stroke within a stroke is you want to go to Window, you want to go to Appearance. And then in the Appearance window, you'll see that's where the stroke is. You can control the stroke in the Appearance window. I can just basically go down, drag that down here, and duplicate the strokes. I'm going to go to the stroke below the 8, make that thicker, 16, and I'm going to make that a different color. you can use strokes within strokes to speed up your workflow. You drag the stroke down into the duplicate area, go the stroke down here, make a thicker stroke. I have no idea what's going on now. Okay, I don't know why it didn't work. Let me try that one more time. I always found it heartening to see what, as the instructor's working on things when I took courses, things not working perfectly there at work. And there you go. So now you know about strokes within strokes. So now you know about the repeater. You know how to make a stroke within a stroke. You can go down here, reverse the spine, reverse the front to back, duplicate things, and try all sorts of things for an abstract book cover or whatever it is, magazine cover that you're making.